Susan and Ned were driving through an empty wooded highway as a torrential storm engulfed the night. Thunder roared, and lightning illuminated the desolate road. "We'd better stop," Susan urged, her voice shaking. Ned nodded and pressed the brakes, but the car skidded on the slick pavement. Within seconds, they slid off the road and came to a halt at the bottom of a muddy incline. Breathing heavily, Ned checked on Susan, who nodded that she was unhurt. Relieved, he turned to examine the car through the rain-streaked windows. "I'll check the damage," he said, stepping into the storm. Through the haze of headlights and rain, Susan saw his blurry figure circling the car. Moments later, he jumped back in, drenched and pale. "We're stuck, wheel deep in mud," he said grimly. "I'll have to go find help. Stay in the car, turn off the headlights, and lock the doors until I get back." Susan nodded but felt her stomach twist with fear. She knew the reputation of the place, Axe Murder Hollow. Though unspoken, both of them were haunted by the same dreadful thought. Decades ago, this was the site of a gruesome murder. A man, consumed by jealousy, had hacked his wife to death with an axe and, according to legend, continued to haunt these woods, seeking revenge. As the minutes stretched into an agonizing wait, Susan heard a distant shriek. Her breath caught. Then, a heavy thump, followed by a grotesque gurgling sound, shattered the silence. The storm masked everything else, leaving her in paralyzing fear. She shrank into her seat, her heart racing. Then, another noise surfaced, soft but rhythmic. Bump, bump, bump. It sounded like something swinging against a surface, pushed gently by the wind. Before she could investigate, a bright light suddenly illuminated the car. Relief flooded her as an authoritative voice called out, "Ma'am, step out of the vehicle." Ned must have found help. Unlocking the door, Susan stepped out, shielding her eyes from the light. But as her vision adjusted, she froze in horror. Hanging from a nearby tree was Ned's lifeless body, strung up by his feet. His throat was slashed so deeply, his head was nearly severed. His corpse swung gently in the wind, thumping against the trunk. Bump, bump, bump. Susan's scream pierced the storm, but her terror deepened as the source of the light came into focus. It wasn't a flashlight, it was a glowing figure. A man stood there, his translucent form shimmering in the rain. His unnerving smile widened as he hefted an axe in his ghostly hands. "You've been very naughty," the apparition whispered, dragging the blade along its sharp edge. Susan stumbled back, her scream swallowed by the storm. The last thing she saw was the glint of the axe as it arced toward her in the ghost's incandescent glow. If you like this video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And by subscribing to the channel, you help support the creation of more videos just like this one.